Hey guys, Maria Guild here. Thanks so much for watching. So the other day I was watching a podcast from Joel Osteen, and I loved it. It was really good. It was called Empty Out the Negative, and I'll link it below. Watch it. It was amazing. Anyways, in his podcast, he shares a story about meeting this little old lady who was 100 years old one time. And he said she was beautiful and she was well dressed and like looked impeccable and she was filled with joy and smiling. And he was just so impressed by her being 100 years old that he asked her, what her secret was. And she replied with three things. She said, number one, wait, I don't remember. Okay, number one, she said, I don't worry. Number two, I let things go. And number three, I laugh a lot. Those were the three things. Simple. Oh my God, when I read that story, I was like, I want to be that person. But here's the thing, I feel like that's a big issue for me sometimes, especially the letting go of things part. I feel like I have trouble with that, immense trouble. I I feel like I'm kind of sensitive by nature, but not like sensitive in the way of like, oh, I'm super timid and I'm shy and like that, like weak. I feel like I'm sensitive to like other people and their emotions and their feelings and their energies. Like I feel like I get depleted really easily. And I feel like I can get like knocked off my feet really easily. Um, Sometimes it's a little thing, like someone will say something to me unkind, or there'll be a little conflict in my marriage, and my husband will do something, and like it's so hard for me to just kind of get over it or pick myself up. And like I feel like, sometimes I'll spend hours just like feeling like powerless and sad and all these difficult emotions or things. And I was like, I really need to, like, I feel like I really need to tackle that. Like I really don't want to be that kind of person anymore. Like I want to have the good traits of being a sensitive person or an empath, or being aware and intuitive of other people, but I don't want it to get to the point where I feel like I am drawn in, or I am overwhelmed and overcome by each difficult situation I face in my life, or each bad situation, or not even horrible, but just like little things. Like I feel like I react too strongly to things, especially in my marriage. Like, my husband will say something off the wall, or he'll be a little bit unkind or whatever, and immediately I'm just like, oh my God, like I can't do this anymore. And I'm like searching for apartments, and I'm just like, and I'd planned something fun for the day and I was happy, and the next thing I know, I'm just like, like like super intense. And I feel like I've really admired other women or wives or even husbands. Like, things aren't perfect. People do, like, I'll even see some relationships and I'm like, how does she deal with that guy? Like, how do they do it? And I admire women who just kind of let things go easily, and they're, oh, don't mind him, like, like it really rolls off their backs. And I feel like I wanted to be that person more. I wanted to just not let things get to me so badly. So this was really good. This podcast I watched was really amazing, and helpful. And so I feel like one of the lessons that I'm learning is that, other people can hurt you, other people can offend you, but it's your choice how you're going to react to it. And I feel like for me in the past, I've just given away my power too much and lost my joy. And I think really, really focusing on that and really saying like, look, I don't want to hold on to this any longer. I don't want this to take up more space. Even if someone's hurt me, like if they've hurt me once, I don't want them to be hurting me all day long. I don't want to dwell in it. I don't want to live in it. I want to give it to God. I just want to give it to Jesus and say, look, Lord, you know how I feel. You know that this situation is unpleasant, or this was hurtful to me. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to move on. I forgive the person, but I'm not going to let them steal my joy. I'm not going to let them take my power. And I feel like that's a super important lesson for me to learn. Like I feel like I'm really learning that. Like just learning not to be so reactive to everything in my life and so overcome and overwhelmed. Um, the other day I was driving and I saw this little homeless woman. It's super sad, but she had this big cart of stuff and she was pushing it, and I was like way, in an intersection way on the other side, but I saw her and there was like a little step in the road and her cart kind of wouldn't smoothly go over it. Like there was a little bump. And she was pushing it and felt the little bump, the little bit of resistance, and she just like, oh, like she threw her head down and she was like this, just like no, like she was like really lost it. Of course, I felt so bad, and I just prayed for her, like, "Oh Jesus, please help that woman." There was no way I could go help her with her cart, but I almost felt like God was showing me that, and like basically telling me, like, when you completely collapse and overreact to it, like I could see the little bump in the road and I could see that like it wasn't the end of the world. Like she would be able to, like if she pushed a little bit hard, like she'd be able to get over it and conquer it. But obviously the state of her mind at that point, I mean, she was like, from whatever overwhelmingness is in her life, like she was done for. I mean, she was collapsed. Um and I feel like God sometimes he looks at us, or for me, like he'll see that like it's really a little thing. It's just a little hurdle, and if you're stronger mentally and emotionally, then it's easier to get over those things. And it's really not the end of the world. So first of all, I think it's remembering that it's just a little hurdle. It's just a little bump. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your marriage. It's not the end of all things. It's a hurdle. It's going to take a little bit of strength to push through it, to get over it, to give it to God, to forgive the person, but you can do it. I mean, you can get over it. And I feel like for me, one really important part to becoming more strong and impervious to these things and not becoming so overwhelmed and hurt, or just like rendered useless every time something comes against me, is strengthening myself in the word. Or I feel like I've really been trying consciously every day to listen to something uplifting or listen to a podcast and just feed my mind and my soul and spirit with things that are gonna help me when I hit those road bumps and when I run into those difficult situations. So that was it. I just wanted to share that. I don't know if any of that made any sense, but yeah, that was it. Just my lesson of being stronger and having, not letting life overwhelm me or take me down so quickly and so easily, and letting go of things and just giving it to God. God knows, he sees our struggles. And even if someone's wronged us, we don't have to live with that. We can move on. We can find peace. We can have joy, and live the life God intended us to live. All right, have a great day. Bye.